You show me what you got. I'll tell you where to put it.
I'm pulling them right now because it feels good.
Oh, I mean, Finnan really is a fucking babe. I mean, the accent. Welcome back, Pot Coven, to the next episode in our Yule series. This time we're talking about consumables. That's right. Some food, some drink, you know, what to eat and drink in order to honor the sun coming back to the Northern Hemisphere, bring in those good times. Welcome summer back. Where'd you go, summer? Please come back. Anyway, yeah.
Please.
So
You guys remind me of Olaf. You're like, I want summer. Imagine how much cooler I'll be in summer. Josh Gad is a treasure, though. Okay, I just want to say that publicly.
I also fully relate to Olaf because I probably will melt my ass off in the summer, and I will absolutely hate it then too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But I'll get to wear shorts.
that is true. At least you get to look hot. You get to look spicy.
I'm just
Look
realizing
hot
that
and hot.
a lot of my pants aren't that comfortable, and now that like I don't really have to, nor should I be leaving the house all that often. There's really only like 3 pairs that I'm wearing, which I guess is fine. I'm just in my house, but you know.
Yeah, it can make you feel a little frumpy for sure.
My Aries Sun Leo Moon does not like it. I'm in my house. I'm still gonna look good for me. And when I don't, I'm like, well, I guess I just look like a frumpy old lady today.
Right.
That's okay.
Why don't I just wear a garbage bag because I'm garbage?
I did!
Yeah. So anyway, we've already got the winter blues hanging out over here. Winter's just started. Oh no, technically it starts on Monday, so it's gonna be a long season, ladies.
It's been cold since almost the beginning of October.
Okay, well that's fair. That's fair. I can see how you're sick of it.
It's really technically still not that cold here in California. I'm as I have already just yelled up and down on the past 2 episodes, I am just so over the sun going down at 4:45.
Yeah, the
100.
dark. Yeah, the early dark is freaky. It's weird. I can see why old ancient peoples would like have been panicking and been like, "What the fuck? Is it ever gonna be bright again?"
Yeah, probably because like people were getting more depressed and they were like, must be evil spirits because it's dark and so the evil spirits are out. That's the only reason that this could be happening.
That still
And
makes
I feel
sense.
that. Yeah. I feel like the theory still holds.
Well,
but yeah,
at
that's
least-
why
Yeah.
eating and drinking is a
Speaking
part of these celebrations. What's up, Jess?
I have a story that combines both of these things.
All right.
I guess trolls and gnomes are probably not evil spirits, but they're not human either. And so in old school Norway, or a lot of Nordic teachings, they will leave food out during solstice or Yule to keep them from playing tricks on you.
Nice.
So you feed them, you appease them, and then they don't pick on you.
Yeah.
Works
You
on
know,
me.
Offerings, you know, they like it when you leave them stuff. People are usually into it. Okay, real quick before we get into it, what are the 3 things that you would want as an offering if you were a deity? French fries is definitely one of mine. French fries for sure.
French fries are good.
Orchids,
I like
chapstick, and journals.
I like
Nice.
that. That's a good one.
Journals that you wrote your most vulnerable, intimate details of your life in. With
Okay,
a few
Scorpio
blank
rising.
pages where I can leave notes.
Let me edit your responses.
No blank journals. I want to know about your life.
Tell me your
I
secrets.
would leave notes in my own journals. I'll go back and read them and leave notes about like how I think I was doing or what I could have done better or, you know, encouragement, those kinds of things. So that's what I would want. I would want you to leave me your journal with all of your life's information with space where I can leave a note.
I like that.
I think that's cool.
I
mean, honestly, like, secrets, I fucking love secrets. I don't love, like, gossiping about people, but, like, if someone's got the juicy news, like, I won't tell anyone. I just want to know.
Gosh, I have a Sagittarius Mercury. I don't like secrets. I mean, I'm fine with them and I can keep them if I have to. Obviously, I have a Scorpio moon, so that helps out. But like my Sag Mercury is just like, say it, say it, say it, say it, say it, say it, say it.
Yes. Yeah, I've had to learn to be a better secret keeper. Like the times that I've exposed someone's secrets was usually on accident. And I was like, oops, I did not mean to say that. My bad. So I've gotten better over the years. Let's see. But for me, offerings, I would totally want coffee, soup, almost any kind, but I love soup, and a big fuzzy jacket.
Okay.
That's how you summon me.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. Mine, French fries, of course.
Love
Honestly, you could just do French fries and that would probably be good enough to get me.
3
You don't have to
packs
work
of
too
French
hard. But also, I was going to say white wine, but I'm not drinking white wine that much these days. So I'm going to say a hot toddy because it's winter and I've been drinking hot
yummy.
toddies. And a Pilot G207 pen specifically. They're really,
yes.
they're cheap. They're not anything special, but they are my favorite pens.
They're the best.
They flow nicely.
They come in a ridiculous amount of colors, and so on my desk is like 20 of them lined up, and I use like one for taking like notes, and then it goes to the back, and then it's a whole system. It's very it's very neurodivergent Capricorn of me, but that's been my system for years.
That's a good way to keep yourself like kind of on track. You're like, okay, I've got the teal blue pen, and now I'm writing about astrology. I've got the hot pink pen, and now I'm writing about tarot. You know, whatever.
It helps me to see things when there's just like more colors, then I can just see it easily. If it's all the same color, then I just get confused.
Yeah, that's what I use highlighters for too. I like to highlight things in certain colors, like, yeah, colors. Colors are dope.
Yeah, pens. Okay, so the first thing I have a note on is ham, which is not something I personally eat, but I read that sacrificing a pig on Yule was a tradition in ye olden days, and that's what gave birth to the idea of having ham for Christmas. Because like sacrificing pigs was a part of the holiday. Of course, you know, any like old pagan tradition, if you go back far enough, usually sacrificing living creatures was a big part of all the holidays at some point in time. But now you can just go to the store and buy a ham.
Yeah. I think that the pagan way of doing things is more authentic though, because you know what I mean? Like when we look at, I'm not a vegan, you know, I try to limit my, animal products as much as possible, but I have a bunch of carnivores in my house, so it's difficult. But just the way that we disassociate from the life of our food, I feel like is very wrong. Whereas like for me, hunting your animals or like having your own farm and like raising your own animals in order for you to eat them, you know, you only need like 1 or 2 animals per year for your family if you're doing it like that, you know. So to me, you know, getting back to the roots of your eating, I find is definitely better, you know what I mean? Like so I'm okay with it. Like I'm not saying it's great or it's a good thing or that anything deserves to die, but all creatures die, and the least we can do is give them some fucking dignity.
It's very nuanced, you know, as someone who is mostly vegan, except for hot Cheetos. Oh, you could put hot Cheetos on my altar too. That would stump me for sure. But you know, I don't like meat. I never really have, so that's also just a preference. But it's the fucking factory farming industry. It is the dairy industry, you know. They have their hands in so many different pots, and they're just like twisting us and just like really badly affecting humans and the planet and animals. I don't think eating meat or dairy is inherently bad, you know. Humans have been doing it for a long time. But the fucking meat and dairy industry is just one of the worst evils of capitalism, which is saying a lot because capitalism is evil.
Well, and I mean, if you think about it, our whole system also still sacrifices humans just in different ways, where we sacrifice them to the for-profit prisons, or we sacrifice them to, you know, leadership brutality of all kinds, or medical brutality, or like, there's so many folks even still in our society who are marginalized and demonized and essentially just sacrificed at the altar of society, but we do it in such a fucked up way now. People used to like know they were being sacrificed. They're like, okay, I'm being sacrificed to the gods, and now they're just like, we're just gonna let you fucking die because we don't care about you because you're fucking poor. Eat shit.
You have no purpose.
Yeah.
You are just an instrument to make me richer. But if they keep killing us and just keep us down as much as they have, like they being the rich elite, the powers that be, they used to be much better at making us think that we lived nice, comfy lives. At least us white people. I guess I can't speak to anyone else. But no, we're all in the shitter now.
Yep.
We're all in just the big garbage can of the middle or lower class, just down here like, help us, please. No,
They
you're being
started
sacrificed.
realizing that there's too many of us to have any of us thinking that we are okay enough. So now we all have to be put down lower to the next peg and the next one so that they can keep us in line with their little plans. Big plans. They're probably big plans.
I love how this episode is devolving into just like, fuck the patriarchy.
We've only got into ham. That's it.
We only talked about ham and we're already ready to fucking start new protests
Well,
and shit.
After this ham conversation, maybe we should talk about some nog.
All right. There we go.
Yes.
There we
Actually,
go.
I don't have any notes on nog, so I'm excited to hear more about the eggnog.
Right, so the traditional eggnog was probably first talked about in the 1690s, somewhere around then, and maybe coming from the word noggin, which was Middle English, and it meant carved wooden mug for serving alcohol. So nog was just a beverage that contained hard alcohol. And then the egg came in. It's a whipped drink. Clearly, we've all heard of eggnog. It's very prevalent still. I've never made it before though. I would like to do that. My daughter's favorite Christmas time holiday drink is eggnog.
I've never tried it because the thought of drinking eggs really grosses me out. Like, even if there's not actual eggs in eggnog, I honestly have no idea, but just the word eggnog makes me feel sick. I'm like, nope, whatever that is, I don't want it.
No, there's egg in it, at least in the modern one that we have now. Because,
no.
Because
it's eggs, dairy, sugar, and alcohol.
Yeah.
That is like literally the worst thing you could drink.
There's
I think it
vegan
sounds
eggnog.
fantastic.
Oh, okay. What's in vegan eggnog?
I do not know.
Oh, okay.
I've never made it, but you could buy from
Vegan egg.
a vegan egg. There's lots of different ways to make a vegan egg, but none of them would really work for eggnog. So I don't know what they do for that, but yes, basically you can get a non-dairy, milky, spicy alcohol drink.
And this is why my favorite holiday drink is apple cider. There's nothing gross.
Straight
in
to
it,
the point.
Nothing weird. Yes, it is apple
There's
juice.
still
and some-
alcohol.
Yes, you can still have alcohol in it, so that's good. But I like the like cinnamon and nutmeg and clove kind of taste. So I enjoy apple cider a lot this time of year. It's one of my favorites. Reminds me of like Victorian Christmases or something.
Right, like you're gonna go out wassailing.
Also,
Another alcoholic beverage,
right?
Which you're going to need after you indulge in this ham and take down the patriarchy.
I know. I want to make wassail when I go to my family's house.
do it.
But I was also looking up like multiple wassail recipes, and like they're all kind of different. But it's essentially, I mean, it's just another like warm, spicy, alcoholic drink for the holidays, which I'm all about. I love a warm, spicy, alcoholic drink in the wintertime. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, that one always gets me. I try not to drink, but then when it comes to warm, spicy alcohol, I'm like, oh, I'm drunk. Whoops.
Is hot buttered rum and a hot toddy the same thing or similar things?
They're different, quite different. Hot buttered rum is rum and water and butter, and I want to say brown sugar and maybe something else. A hot toddy is whiskey.
Spicy.
Yeah. A hot toddy is whiskey and boiling water. That's why it's hot. And honey and lemon and a cinnamon stick. And it's so
Both of those
They
good.
both
sound
sound
awesome.
yummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with both of those. Sounds like we got some drinks to make, ladies.
I know. At
Christmas
one point,
parties to be had.
we had discussed actually drinking for this episode at one point in time, but I totally forgot about it until we were on the call.
Yeah.
We just
It's
haven't
probably
put out
not
a
smart for
drunk.
me to drink at 1 p.m., so.
Yeah. We didn't plan for a time
It's
that
not
would
today.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, next
for us
week,
to be
maybe.
drinking. True that. Next Friday is Christmas I
Oh,
will
it's
be drinking.
Christmas.
because that's what happens when there's no children. Well, I might be seeing my brother and sister-in-law and their kids, which for anyone listening that's like cringe, Jasmine seeing family, I have not been seeing anyone for 3 weeks, and I am getting a COVID test before I go.
Good for you. I'm so proud of you. Thank
Yeah.
you for giving a fuck. I appreciate that.
You know, it just, I've missed my friends because I was like potted up. You know, I had like 4 friends that I would see. And I haven't seen them in weeks. And so it definitely makes the winter nights harder, not having something to look forward to, you know, not being able to be like, yay, on Thursday, we're going to sit at Jordan's fire pit outside and drink hot toddies, you know? No, it's just another long, lonely night in my bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's worth it.
Yep. It's worth it to stay
That's been the
safe.
hardest part about breaking up during the holidays. Because I wasn't hanging out with anyone else. And
Yeah,
no
it's like-
companionship.
It's like you were my person. I chose you above all, and now you're gone. You dick.
No one ever chooses me long term. Don't talk
We-
like that.
We do. We've been with you
Yeah.
almost 2 years.
Yeah. Almost 2 years, baby.
It's only because you live in a different state.
That's what I always tell my siblings. I'm like, you guys only love me because you never have to see me. If you had to see me all the time, I'd drive you crazy.
This episode of the Power Through podcast has been brought to you by BetterHelp.com. BetterHelp is an online platform with licensed therapists who are ready to help you wherever you might exist across the multiverse. Now, you must be 18 years or older to use this service, and BetterHelp is not a crisis line, but you can start communicating with someone within 24 hours. They have financial aid available to qualifying individuals. This is a secure, convenient, and affordable platform for your counseling services. Use the URL betterhelp.com/witchy to get your first week free.
This episode is brought to you by Let's Get Checked at-home health testing system. Let's Get Checked is all about personal health testing, making healthcare and health screening open and patient-led, empowering people to use technology in a simple but powerful way, and giving greater control to their personal health. They have a range of tests, including STD testing across all genders, fertility tests, celiac tests, general wellness, and more. Use the code WITCHY on letsgetchecked.com at checkout for 20% off your purchase.
Okay. What else do I have written down? Well, I wrote down cakes, pies, and cookies specifically in the shape of the sun, you know, like circular stuff. Especially if you can add like orange and yellow, like frosting, any like bright colors. I was finding a lot of stuff about using the colors of the sun. Also like with soups, like there's a lot of like Sun King soups that I found, and I liked that. So I'm going to definitely be making some orange soup and eating oranges and whatnot. I'm like, that's a fun thing that I hadn't found yet in my research. That is a cute way to, especially since welcoming the sun back is obviously something that I'm really looking forward to. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, the orange, come back to me, Sun King.
So, I did find that fruitcakes were originated in Rome.
Oh. So we have the Romans to
Perhaps
blame.
Those,
Mm-hmm.
but they're cakes soaked in alcohol. I didn't know that part.
Oh. Well, that changes things.
That
And they
seems
would
to be
use
a
like
big thing.
pomegranates and
so
raisins
should.
and things like that. But I didn't like read much else into it. Could like some of that be them worshiping the sun? Because the sun god was something that they worshipped too during this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. I feel like, fruits very much feel like sun god energy, like the more you're incorporating fruits. But yeah, also just soaking cakes in alcohol was a big thing in all the consumables I was finding. I was like, I love this for us.
What kind of alcohol?
I saw brandy. Well, I was looking up plum pudding, It's more of like it's an alcohol soaked cake. Yeah, a very dense cake, and you soak it in brandy or wassail. And let's see, the pudding was made like way before Yule. You started it like a week ahead of time. I don't know how that works, but that's what I found. And one cute thing I found about making plum pudding was that everybody in the house had to stir at least once. They had to stir the pot at least once and make a wish. Very cute.
That's cute.
And little trinkets were placed in there symbolizing good luck. Like you could put in a silver ring. It's supposed to be silver because that's like you can bake that and it'll be okay. But if you do this if you make a cake and you want to throw in trinkets, wrap it in aluminum foil to make sure it's safe. But you can put a baby in to symbolize that you're gonna have a kid, or a ring to get married, or like a little gold coin for money. Or there was one that was like not good, but I can't remember what it was, or like a little wishbone for good luck and whatnot. But yeah, that one was brandy or wassail is what I found.
I've heard about those. I think I've heard about those through like a Celtic perspective, where like the little good luck cakes or whatever, and you each get a slice, and it's like a fortune telling kind of event. So I always thought that was really cool. I do not have the patience for that level of baking, but that sounds cool.
I feel like the waiting like the week before is so that it can soak and age in the alcohol.
Fermentation.
You're probably right. Yeah.
They're essentially like edibles
of
a different kind,
It also makes me think of cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Like you have to let it sit. You can't just eat it right away.
God, can you imagine being the person first discovering cheese? Like, I milked my cow and I left this all out in this, thing, and now it's all hard. I'm going to take a bite.
Taste it.
Right. I'm sure his wife was probably just like, well, we need some fucking food, so bring it inside. They're like, what are we going to do with this? And someone took a bite out of it, and they're like, this isn't half bad. It smells weird, but...
If we don't die, this could be good.
Let's put it on the bread, see how that goes.
Let's melt it on these noodles.
Yummy.
Yeah, well, and one thing that I have on, or a couple things I have on my list are like different variations of like squashes, like kabocha squash and pumpkin and zucchini. Like a lot of these North American staples at this time of year are orange and yellow and like white, like these bright colors. So things that we enjoy now, like butternut squash soup, little things like that are, like that bright color, and they're full of nutrients, and they're like pumpkins won't keep forever, but like you can put them if you store a lot of these squashes in the proper way, you can keep them for a long ass time. Like you can keep them for a couple months. Like that would help get you through the winter. So it definitely makes sense, just even on like that practical mindset, to have these bright colored foods that also kind of last. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams, like all the tubers, carrots and turnips and all that stuff. So can definitely see where lots of that came from, for sure.
I love a carrot.
Carrots are delicious.
I know. I just had to laugh instantly after that, because I just felt like a very like dorky goober thing to say. I love a carrot.
My kids will literally I will buy a couple pounds of carrots from the market and give it to them with ranch, and they're gone. It's gone. They'll eat it. They'll literally eat it for dinner if they don't like what I'm cooking. I always give them the option of like, you can have what I'm cooking, or you can have like veggies, basically. Like that's your two options. If you really hate what I made, you really don't want to eat homemade pizza or chili or whatever the fuck I made, then here you go. Carrots and ranch for you.
Well, good thing they like it. They're going to have great eyesight.
I know, right?
So one other thing that I found that was different and interesting was called a Kringle breakfast treat. And so it's this Danish, or it's a Danish. It's from, that's its origin. But it's in a circle, like a wreath, but that also symbolizes the wheel of the year and the turning of the tides and the seasons. This specific kind of, apparently a kringle is a Danish treat. But the Danes who settled in Wisconsin take claim to the O shape, but it also like symbolizes a wreath as well. But yeah, basically it's this like circular or, O-shaped pastry that you can put some icing on and whatnot. But that's like a way to, honor the wheel of the year.
Are those the same ones with the jelly in the middle? You know what I mean? Like where it's like a circle, but there's like a thin layer on the bottom for the jelly to kind of like sit on top, but it's like, yeah, like a cookie with jelly on it. When I lived in Iowa, I lived next to this town called Pella, and it was, I want to say Dutch. I want to say they were a Dutch settlement, but they had like, yeah, these like famous bakeries, and the 2 times a year you wanted to go there were winter and spring. Like those were like the busiest times for them because those were when like their best foods were out. It was so awesome. Oh God, I want one now. Strangely enough, they also had a really good Chinese buffet in the town. I don't know. Good for them. It was delicious. Thanks.
Chinese food's amazing, so,
It is. It's hard to beat a Chinese buffet, to be honest. Give me all the noodles. I never have to stop eating noodles.
Now I want Chinese food.
Sorry. My bad.
We're doing this whole episode on the things that you eat and drink for Yule, and I'm walking away from it like, I want Szechuan garden.
Yeah, well, I mean, tea as well is another popular holiday thing. You can find those in Chinese restaurants. Not, probably not the same for, like if we were ancient folks, we'd be in Europe. So it'd be different types of teas, but that's always pretty popular. Anything with hot water at this time of year or heated liquids is pretty much a remnant from the past, from your ancestors being like, I gotta survive this freezing cold weather. I'll heat from within.
Yeah, dude. Heating from within's great. I mean, like a nice shot of whiskey, that'll really warm you up. Good whiskey. Warms your soul.
It really does. There's some good whiskey out there.
I was really never a whiskey person. I'm still like not a whiskey person, but I like whiskey drinks. Like if it's just a shot, ooh, girl, I would rather have vodka if I have to take a shot. But
yeah. Which whiskey have you been putting in your hot toddies lately?
Right now I have this Irish whiskey called Kilburn.
Oh, okay.
That's what I've been going for, but I usually go for Tullamore Dew. I generally stick to the Irish whiskey.
Okay. Yeah, that was my question, was because there's a difference between like the burn of the Scotch whiskeys and like the smoky Kentucky whiskeys, and then I am not personally a huge fan of Irish whiskeys because for me they don't burn me enough. I'm like, I want fire going down the pipe. I'm like, fill me with gasoline. So I'm like a bullet bourbon. I'm a bourbon type of whiskey drinker, but I was just curious.
Bullet bourbon is nice. That's what I usually put in old fashions if I'm drinking old fashions. Yeah.
I've never had an old fashioned.
They're good. It was an acquired taste, as a lot of alcoholic drinks can be. Like the first one I had, I was like, I don't know. And then the second one I ever had, because my friend loves old fashions, so we would play Catan at her house last year, and it would be like, do you want wine or an old fashioned? And I'd be like, I want an old fashioned. Like, bring it on.
And it sounds bougie to order one too.
Doesn't it?
But of whiskey
like
drinks,
all alcohol.
Exactly, yeah. But of whiskey drinks, my favorite's probably a Manhattan. It's because I love cherry as well. Like I love the cherry flavor. So for me, the Manhattan is just like, yes, just combine like 2 of my favorite things.
Well, Manhattans are dope.
Mm-hmm.
I love a Manhattan.
Kind of makes me miss working in bars, but not really. I was always drunk.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Kind of hard to avoid.
Apparently so is everyone else during Yule back in the olden day.
Yeah, right? This was, I know it was a harsh time, but, well, and you know what? That's probably where all this kind of came from. Like, yes, it's a manner of survival, but also you have to outlive your depression in these times. And when you're, because, you know, back in ancient days, you had a job that you did all the time. If you were a farmer, you were constantly in the field farming shit. And so when you have nothing to do, you can't really go outside because it's butt ass cold, and you have, you know, some furs to wear, or, you know, like some shit that you had to put together, you know, you're mostly inside, and you have to outlive your own mind, and you have to outlive the loneliness and the darkness. So I can imagine that after a few rounds of like creating like societal peoples, that they're like, okay, we got to have something to fucking celebrate because we're all going to just like die or kill each other. Like, this is horrible.
Right. Okay. That's where you were going. The whole time I was like, yeah, that's why they needed alcohol.
Yep. Well, exactly. That's why they
look
needed
forward
alcohol. Is because they had to fucking make it through, and they're like, it's so dark and it's like 2:00. Woo!
Yeah, dude. When I'm done with work, anywhere between like 4 and 6 p.m., I'm like, okay, I deserve a drink.
Right?
Which I would be more concerned about if I ever had more than 2 a night, which I don't.
Yeah. There's a definite line between having something to relax and then taking things to an extreme. So yeah, just all you folks out there, use your best discretion. Please, also, on the topic, don't drink and drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
3 is my limit. 3 is like I'm starting to have a little bit too much fun. If I have that 4th one, and especially that 5th one, I'm waking up with a hangover.
Mm-hmm. I feel that.
Like massive. And
you want to know my secret weapons? Okay, I have a couple rules when I drink. Number 1, I do not stop drinking water the whole time I'm drinking alcohol. I drink water the entire time, at least half a glass between every drink. Number 2, I do not stop eating while I'm drinking either. And I still get the buzz, but it helps my body process it to a point where, like, I don't wake up hungover very often. I've definitely done it, and I definitely still every now and then will have a hangover, but usually, like, if I eat and drink water during all my alcohol drinking, like, I wake up pretty fine. Like, I'm a little, like, groggy, maybe a little sore just from, I don't know. I do a lot of weird shit when I'm drunk, so, you know, too much fist pumping or whatever, you know, too much excitement. But I always eat and drink. I had one more, but I can't remember what it is now. I'll probably think of it after we end the episode. But anyway, eat and drink while you drink your alcohol. It'll help save you.
It's true. Even the times when I've gotten like capital D drunk. There was one time we were celebrating a friend's birthday when we were in New Zealand, and it was like this. It was truly an epic party. It was amazing. But we were in Queenstown, and they're like, because people just get really drunk there. They're very strict on if you seem drunk, you're not allowed to go into the bar or the club.
Whoa.
Yeah. So quite a few people didn't make it even to the first place. But I was also like, I'm not trying to be dead tomorrow, and I'm trying to survive tonight. I'm trying to have a good time. We've been looking forward to this party for like weeks now. And so I was just like chugging water in equal measure to alcohol. And I got plenty drunk, and I woke up the next day and I was like, oh, wow. So that water thing really works if you can remember. But a lot of times I just don't remember to do it.
Yeah. I usually have to like set myself up because like I always have a certain cup or a certain bottle that I'm using. But if I like, if I tell my brain, I'm like, okay, this is our cup, put it in a place, have like a lid. I know it's mine. No one's drinking from it. Yeah, I'll drink water all night. And I'm like, oh, phew. Dodge that bullet.
We celebrated my roommate's birthday last Saturday. By the time this comes out, it'll be a couple Saturdays ago. And we played Jenga, but we wrote on the Jenga pieces, different like truths and dares and whatnot.
Oh,
and so like, on some of them, it's like take a shot or finish your drink. But then also in equal measure, it was like drink a glass of water before your next turn, take a shot of water. Everybody drinks a glass of water.
That's so wholesome. I love that.
I was still hungover though. Yeah. It was like, I'm the oldest one in this house, but everybody's in their mid to late 20s. So it was like, we don't need to get that drunk. They don't need to all be take a shot, like all the dares. That's not necessary.
This Power of 3 episode has been brought to you by Tonic Vibes CBD products. Tonic's original CBD blends are handcrafted in small batches with purposeful plant-based ingredients. Using herbs like ashwagandha and superfoods like black seed oil, Tonic elevates the benefits of CBD to create a powerful way to heal the body, calm the mind, and restore balance. Their hemp-derived CBD and botanical blends create a completely holistic method to help you feel your best and #FixYourVibe. Use code WITCHY at tonicvibes.com for 10% off your order.
This episode of the Power of Three podcast is brought to you by Shock Rubs, because sex is magic. Shock Rubs is the first crystal sex toy company. Their sex toys are made from natural crystals that bring a sense of sacredness to your playtime. These beautiful handcrafted tools are created with the intention of opening oneself up to the healing properties that crystals provide. All toys are body safe, made from the earth, and provided with love. They create harmony in mind, body, and spirit, remove blocks caused by sexual trauma, create deeper intimacy with the self and with your partner, and even encourage self-awareness and mindfulness. So use the code WITCHYWISDOM on shockrubs.com at checkout for 10% off your purchase today.
Yep, definitely.
Well, I've shared everything that I found, except for I have one quote, a very short quote from someone who described wassail as hot and spicy beer, which sounds both good and not good. I would try it. But that's the thing about the wassail is I saw a recipe that was like, yeah, warm beer with like different spices and stuff in it. And then I've seen another one that was a little bit more like apple cider.
Yeah, I actually looked through my Hedgewidge Book of Days. Hedgewidge. Why can I not say this word? Hedgewidge Book of Days. I'm trying to say it too fast. And yeah, that recipe was cider too. And I was like, oh, I might actually like this. Maybe I'm down.
I don't think beer with spice sounds particularly good. I'd probably still try it because you never know, but that does not sound good.
It's like if it's brewed with spice, yeah. But if I'm just taking like a beer off the shelf and like put it in the pot, throw some cinnamon there, I don't know if the flavors will really, fit the palate.
Yeah. The only thing I use beer for in my
beer
house.
in a pot.
Right? The only thing I use beer for in my house is making onion soup.
That's cute.
That sounds fun.
It actually, I've made it with wine for like most of my life, and then like a year ago I was like, I don't like the wine flavor. It doesn't have enough like, I don't know, it was missing like that body that I wanted in my onion soup. And so I tried one of my almost expired beers that my friends had left at the house, and I was like, oh, this is where it's fucking at. Swap out the wine and use beer instead.
Yeah, I feel like that makes sense. Get a little really yeasty up in there.
Yeasty.
So, as we are done recording these Yule episodes, what are you guys going to do for Yule? Have you been inspired to do anything? When are you going to celebrate? What are you going to do?
I definitely have a few Yule things planned out. It's coming up on Monday, and my family tries to, celebrate via the Wheel of the Year. So we're going to celebrate on solstice. We're going to make a Yule log this weekend. I've got my little wood slice, so now we just need to decorate it. And then when it was October and we were carving our pumpkins, I grabbed a couple pumpkins just to bake them. And what I do is I puree it and then I freeze it or I refrigerate it so that we can use it. And we make these little chocolate chip pumpkin cakes. Because I also have a mold that has a leaf, an acorn, and a pumpkin so that you can make little shaped goodies. So we usually make those. And then I have little Yule gifts for each of my kids. Nothing big, just a small thing that I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of you and I love you and you're my little baby. So we are going to have our little bonfire, open our gifts, eat our little pumpkin cakes, and then Christmas, they'll go get spoiled at their grandma's. And if you're worried about me hanging out with my family, my in-laws live right next door. This property is my bubble. We barely go anywhere. So
yeah,
keeping it
basically
safe.
The same house.
yeah, we're all really the same household, honestly. So, but yeah, so that's my plans. How about you, Jess?
I have no plans. No
That's
offense.
also fine.
I have been really fighting the depression cat since Thanksgiving, and I fucking want the holidays to be over.
Totally understandable. I definitely feel that.
I like the depression cat reference.
I watched Big Mouth.
So did I.
In the heat of my depression, and I watched it with my kids actually.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting choice.
Well, my oldest is 13 and she started her period and all that, so I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, you're a woman now. Welcome to the fucking world.
Yeah.
And your younger child is like gonna get maybe, like 5% of the jokes, so it's fine.
Yeah, she's like, this is a cartoon. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, my daughter's infatuated with Disenchanted. And I'm like, oh, you can't watch that. She's like, but I love it. I'm like, no, you can't watch that.
I don't know Disenchanted.
It's also on Netflix. It's like a medieval cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I can kind of see it in my head now.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the Simpsons in the medieval times.
Yes.
Is what it looks like.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So she loves that one, but I'm like, you cannot watch that without either me or your dad present. It's not happening.
That's hella funny. She'll look back on it when she's older, like, whoa, you guys let me watch this?
That's how I feel about Ace Ventura. I'm like, how did my parents allow me to watch that as a child?
When my oldest was or maybe a little younger, we used to watch Family Guy a lot. And in her favorite movie, some bad stuff, but I actually stopped having her watch that stuff when she got wrapped up in a blanket and fell down the stairs into my room. It was one step that she fell down, and she was like, couldn't get out of the blanket, so she repeated to herself, "Get off me, you bastard." And I was like, you're done with the Family Guy.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh. That, when I want to say 4 or 5, probably 5, I walked into my parents' bedroom. My mom and sister were hanging out in there. And I just looked them in the face and I said, "What's up, bitches?"
That's so cute.
It's what Goldie Hawn's character says. Is it Goldie Hawn? I feel like it is, but I might be wrong. In what is that movie? Now and Then. It's like a classic young girls coming of age summertime movie. But yeah, Goldie Hawn walks out of her limo to her childhood friends and she says, "What's up, bitches?" And that's who I wanted to be. Steadily becoming her.
Yeah.
So I think I'm probably not going to do too much on the 21st, but I'm definitely going to be making some sort of orange-colored soup. That's definitely in the plans. I'm probably like trying to wear orange. And that's the day of the Great Conjunction with Saturn and Jupiter and Aquarius meeting up for the first time in a while, ushering us into this very Aquarian year. So yeah, I'm just going to try and do some ritual, invite some orange stuff in, and yeah, that's my plan.
You know what's cute is I think that it's orange. It might be yellow now that I'm thinking about it, but I'm pretty sure that orange is the color of friendship as well, like the kind of representative of friendship. So that's actually really cute. I like that. Good time for orange. It's when you need your friends most.
Go orange. All right, guys, you know where to find us, but if you don't, buckle up. Listen, we're on Instagram, and that's like the best place to interact with us. The username is Power of 3 Podcast. Through the link in that bio, you can be connected to other things like our Patreon, where we put out monthly videos, and our Facebook group, and our Facebook page. And you can email us if you have anything to say about this episode. Any questions, comments, concerns. If you absolutely hated something and you want to tell us about it, that's cool too. We're always open to listening. You're free to do whatever you want. Yep. That email address is powerof3witchpodcast@gmail.com. That's witch as in what we are, and not which sandwich should I eat. Anyway.
Hungry. Go
also
on.
Yes, I need that question sometimes.
You could just email us that question if you want. One of us will respond back in a timely manner. All right, cool cats and kittens. I was going to say stay cool, but honestly, stay warm. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.